There is a version of you that would terrify your current self. Not because he is violent, not because he dominates others, but because he does not negotiate with himself. In feudal Japan, the samurai did not believe weakness should be managed. They believed it should be cut away. And from the frozen mountains of old Korea, Seon warriors observed this code with quiet recognition, because they too understood something modern men have forgotten. Comfort breeds division, and division breeds weakness. The modern man does not fail because he lacks ambition. He fails because he lives in negotiation. He wakes with plans and sleeps with regret. Between those two moments lives compromise. The alarm rings. His first thought is clarity. His second thought is comfort. Comfort wins. He tells himself he will start tomorrow. He scrolls instead of building. He delays instead of deciding. He consumes instead of creating. And by night, ambition returns just strongly enough to make another promise he will not keep. This is not laziness. It is fragmentation of identity. The modern world encourages fragmentation. Be flexible. Be balanced. Be gentle with yourself. Avoid discomfort. Optimize convenience. But ancient warriors did not survive by protecting comfort. They survived by eliminating hesitation. A samurai stepping onto a battlefield did not ask, "Do I feel ready?" He asked, "Am I resolved?" Resolution is not emotional, it is structural. It is a decision made once and obeyed repeatedly. The Seon warrior training in the Korean mountains understood this as well. Winter did not negotiate. Snow did not care about moon. The wind cut through robes without sympathy. They sat in stillness before dawn, spine straight, breath steady, watching the mind rebel against discomfort. The body complained. The thoughts dramatized, but awareness remained. And over time, the mind learned something powerful. Discomfort is not death. The modern man has trained stimulation, not steadiness. Every urge is entertained. Every discomfort is anesthetized. Every moment of boredom is filled. And so when real effort is required, the nervous system interprets it as danger. Bushido interprets it as purification. Bushido emerged from instability, political betrayal, clan warfare, constant mortality. The samurai could not afford internal weakness. Their survival depended on clarity. Rectitude meant doing what is right without hesitation. Courage meant acting despite fear. Honor meant alignment between word and action. Loyalty meant commitment beyond convenience. Self-control meant mastery over impulse. These were not inspirational traits. They were structural necessities. The Hagakure teaches that the way of the warrior is found in death. This is often misunderstood. It does not mean self-destruction. It means ego destruction. It means killing the part of you that hesitates because it wants comfort. When you meditate on death daily, procrastination becomes absurd. If your life can end at sunset, why delay discipline until next month? If everything is impermanent, why cling to indulgence? Seon philosophy mirrors this through the doctrine of impermanence. Everything dissolves, snow melts, steel rusts, youth fades, reputation disappears. What remains is the quality of your actions in the present moment. Bushido seeks alignment through law. Seon seeks alignment through awareness. Different methods, same conclusion. The weak self cannot remain if you want strength. Your resistance is biological. The human brain evolved to conserve energy and avoid threat. Effort signals uncertainty. Uncertainty signals risk. Risk activates caution. When you attempt to build something meaningful, a stronger body, a disciplined routine, a business, a craft, your nervous system resists. It whispers that you are tired. It tells you to wait. It convinces you that tomorrow will be better. This is not moral failure. It is evolutionary wiring. But evolution did not design you for greatness. It designed you for survival. Greatness requires voluntary discomfort. The samurai did not eliminate fear. They trained above it. Through repetition, ritual, and exposure, they reduced its authority. Modern psychology calls this exposure conditioning. When you face discomfort repeatedly without retreating, your fear response weakens. The Seon monk does the same with thought. He does not chase it. He does not suppress it. He watches it arise and dissolve. In doing so, he learns that he is not his impulses. The weak man believes every thought. The disciplined man evaluates thoughts. The warrior ignores those that do not serve his code. When your mind says, "Skip today," that is not prophecy. It is preference. When it says, "This is too hard," it is protecting energy. Bushido cuts the preference. Seon watches it fade. Both refuse to kneel before it. The modern man is scattered because he worships options. Multiple ambitions, multiple backup plans, multiple identities depending on environment. But power requires narrowing. A samurai often dedicated himself to one sword style for life, one master, one code. To drift endlessly was dishonorable because it prevented depth. The mountain blade, standing beneath a steel-gray sky, sharpens the same weapon every morning. Snow falls without applause. No one watches, no one praises, he sharpens anyway. Mastery is repetition applied with commitment. When you choose one path and remove escape routes, you remove negotiation. Negotiation is the breeding ground of weakness. Modern behavioral science confirms that identity-based habits are stronger than outcome-based goals. If you say, "I want to get fit," your action depends on motivation. If you say, "I am someone who trains daily," action becomes alignment with identity. Bushido understood this long before neuroscience explained it. Your word defines you. Break it often enough, and you fracture self-respect. And a fractured man cannot stand firm under pressure. Consistency is the forge. Steel becomes resilient through folding, heated, hammered, folded again. Gaps create brittleness. Consistency creates integrity. The Seon monk practices daily not because he feels spiritual, but because discipline requires rhythm. Neuroplasticity strengthens what you repeat. The brain wires patterns of action, not patterns of intention. You do not lose your future in one dramatic collapse. You lose it in quiet inconsistency. One skipped session becomes a week. One delayed conversation becomes avoidance. One ignored responsibility becomes identity. Bushido feared gaps because in battle, hesitation meant death. In modern life, hesitation means decay. The decay is subtle, but it compounds. Ancient warriors prepared before chaos arrived. They inspected armor before battle. They rehearsed responses before conflict. They accepted death before combat began. This reduced hesitation. Modern psychology calls this implementation intention, deciding your response before temptation arises. Bushido called it oath. If fear appears, advance. If fatigue appears, continue. If doubt appears, breathe and execute. Predecision removes emotional voting. You do not ask your mood for permission. You act according to structure. The Seon warrior trained in winter so spring would not weaken him. Train in discomfort so opportunity does not intimidate you. Weakness is not emotion. Weakness is self-betrayal. It is knowing what must be done and repeatedly choosing comfort instead. Bushido destroys weak men by refusing to tolerate that betrayal. It demands alignment. At first, this feels severe. It exposes your excuses, it removes your favorite justifications, but over time, something extraordinary happens. You begin to trust yourself. When you wake and rise immediately, trust forms. When you keep promises privately, integrity grows. When you endure discomfort voluntarily, fear shrinks. Confidence stops depending on validation. It begins depending on evidence, evidence that you obey yourself. The mountain blade does not boast. He does not seek recognition. His strength is silent because it is internal. Snow falls. Steel rests steady. Midnight blue sky remains unmoved. This is what alignment feels like. Calm, grounded, unshakable. Bushido destroys weak men not by humiliating them but by starving their habits. The procrastinator dies through action. The excuse maker dies through repetition. The doubter dies through exposure to reality. And what remains is not aggression. It is steadiness. You become someone your former self would fear, not because you are cruel, but because you are consistent. There is no gap between intention and execution, no fracture between word and behavior, no emotional debate before necessary action, only movement, only clarity, only discipline. From the mountains of Seon to the battlefields of Bushido, the message is the same. Kill the part of you that hesitates to become who you must be. Snow purifies, steel endures, silence strengthens. If this philosophy resonates with you, subscribe for more lessons from the mountain blade and the path of Seon and the warrior's code.